All right, what's up, everybody? I was in in a live, and then I started it over. Um, Ended up having a technical issue, I think. So starting a new one here. So just gonna sit here and eat my pizza. I got some videos I'm gonna shoot, so I'm just gonna prepare for that. So if you're watching this in replay, it's because somebody eventually shows up and wants to talk about the Amazon Influencer Program, and I'm just gonna kind of just hang out here for a little bit, eat my pizza, set up some video stuff, and just wait, see if somebody pops in, and we'll start having some conversations. So, um, in case that's what happens, thanks you guys for watching later on the replay. I'm gonna try to do more of these lives. I'm not really scheduling them, and I set these up for just subscribers, so it's not like anybody can walk in. So this is only getting broadcasted out to subscribers during the live, and that way it keeps out the folks who want to just troll. Not that you guys can't troll. I guess you could troll, but you know what I'm saying. So, gonna leave this up for a little bit and see if anybody pops in and see if they want to chat. I'm gonna mute myself for the meantime, so you don't hear me eating my pizza. What's up, everybody? I see somebody popped in there. I was just on mute until somebody joined in, slamming some frozen pizza and doing a little bit of creator connection. So just popping on in case anybody wants to chat. Anybody's got any influencer questions. If not, you're more than welcome to see me sit here and chew my pizza. Which, by the way, I did already drop a pepperoni on my pants. And they're gray pants. So probably ruined my pants. Feel free to drop just a hello if nothing else. Thank you guys for dropping by. I did make this chat for subscribers only. So I know you guys are subscribers. Unless you subscribed 10 minutes ago. I think I put a limit of like 10 minutes. Like you have to be a subscriber at least 10 minutes into it. Maybe not. But regardless, welcome. You know what's interesting is I also just noticed that see, I don't do these very much. This is only like I've only done lives for a little bit. And what I didn't realize was I just now figured it out. It's not, you don't have to be a subscriber to watch, just a subscriber to chat. I just now realized that. I don't do these very often. But if you are a subscriber, feel free to drop a what's up in there or something in the chat. Doing some creator connections reviewing right now, looking through a couple of things in creator connections to see if there's any opportunity. And if you're not a subscriber, welcome anyways. I'm just some bozo from the Midwest eating frozen pizza and talking about Amazon influencer program. And thanks if you gave the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Also, the one person that's watching, it's just me and you now until somebody else comes in here. If you're a subscriber, say hi. And if not, I'll just assume it's an emotional hello. Emotional it is. I guess you could be shy. If you're watching, though, I'm going to give you a story, I guess. So I'm not just sitting here in quiet. Give you something. Let me think. What would be a good one? Back whenever I was 17, my first job was at Walmart down in Oklahoma. I lived in a small town, Oklahoma. And I started as a cashier, back then. I was a 17-year-old kid. I didn't care what it was. So I was a cashier. And then at some point, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. Hey, Lewis, appreciate it. Appreciate that, man. I'm just, tonight, just blowing some smoke, doing some creator connections, just looking around a little bit, just popping on in case anybody had any questions. There's only a couple of us in here. So if you got something, feel free to drop it in there. And if not, I'll keep going with my story until you got something else. But thank you very much for the drop by. So I was as a cashier, my first job at Walmart. And actually, what's interesting about that first job that I remember is my day of initiate or orientation, I guess they call it, was the day of the Oklahoma City bombing. I remember being in the back office of that Walmart, and it was on the news, because we were only about an hour from there. And so, yeah. And so at some point I didn't want to do cashiering anymore. And I went to my management and I said, I don't want to be a cashier anymore. And they said, well, we have two options that you can do. They said, you can either do electronics, which was for a 17-year-old kid at the time was a dream job. Like all the CDs back there, all the video game demo thing. So I'm like, well, what's the other one? And they said lingerie. and, and so, you know, what's funny is I think now as an adult, I picked electronics, right? But now as an adult looking back as a 17-year-old boy, I wonder what would have happened if I said lingerie. I was wondering, Lewis, I was wondering how you got into Creator Connections and what your experience has been. So I fell into it, but by nothing of my own. I just got an email one day, and to be honest, I wasn't sure what it was. I've just kind of been in this mode of like saying yes to everything. So I was like, do you want in? And I was like, sure, I want in. My experience with it when I started was not great because I didn't really understand what the point of the program was. I think that I was getting too you would have met all the women in your town. Well, if you would have seen my town, they may not have been a great thing. And God bless them. They're all special in their own ways. So when I started, I think that I was, and I actually think that this is a problem that a lot of people still have with Creator Connections, is I got too distracted by the quote unquote free sample part of it. You know, I think that I was following the advice of too many people that were like, well, get those free samples. And at that time, I was really interested in like getting free stuff from sellers. You know, I thought that was the pathway to making money. If you see my other videos that I made, you'll know that I've turned the corner on that, and I actually believe that's the worst way to make money is free products from sellers. But that was kind of like what I was thinking back then. So I remember I accepted a few campaigns. A couple of them were for products I already had, like maybe 2. And then I accepted a couple of more for free products that they said that they offered samples. I think I took 2 of those. One, they actually did send me the sample and I made the video for it. The other one, they just never did. So I didn't do anything for it. It expired and nothing happened. I made a little bit of money from those campaigns. And those were actually because they were health and fitness items. And I have a health and fitness YouTube channel, not this one, but a different one. And so I did a couple of like shorts and I made maybe like $2 and so I got to the end of those campaigns and I was like, this program sucks horrible. But in reality, I didn't really understand a few things that I understand now. You know, I didn't know that you can use your on-site videos as content, right? Like, so if you can find a matching campaign to a video that you've already made, you can accept the campaign. Like you're good to go. Are you in it by chance, Lewis? And by the way, help me with the pronunciation. Is it Lewis or is it? I guess that'd be the only option, right? Not Louise. Spell it out for me like I'm an idiot, because I am an idiot. And also, are you in it? Is that why you're asking? Because you're not in it and you want to get in it, or you're in it and you're trying to kind of find your way through it? You are in the Amazon Influencer Program. What about Creator Connections? Are you in that? Just curious about the where you're asking of that question of where your point of view is coming from. Okay, perfect. Recently, I know that they just opened the floodgates, and the majority of people are now part of into it. Received an email a week ago. And how long have you been in the influencer program so far? As far as the ability to not just in the program, how long have you been approved for on-site video? Basically, unlocked the ability to earn money through on-site videos. What's that time frame been for you so far? Perfect. Okay. How many total videos do you have? Would you say estimate? 53 videos. Okay, so you're fresh. All right. Here's my 2 cents. It's definitely worth it to get into the program, right? There's you don't lose anything by joining. Even if you get in and you join and you end up not $60. Hey man, that's, you know what? You got to make $60 before you can make 600. Got to make 60 before you can get 6,000. So that's a good start. That's actually a really good start. And if you watch my other videos, I think that you'll get some good context, things that I wish that I knew. And I got a video coming out for this, things that I wish that I knew whenever I started now in retrospect that I would have done differently. Like if I was in your shoes, right? But the Creator Connection thing, the thing that I missed is that I treated Creator Connections like it was an add-on, like a bonus program, right? Because I was already making on-site videos, and I just kind of saw Creator Connections as this peripheral, like not even thing that worked because I tried it and didn't make very much money. But when I learned that you can use your on-site videos, right? The videos you're already making, you're putting on Amazon. When I learned that those qualify as content now that you can use, that means that any video or any product that you've done a video for already, if that product becomes available as a campaign or within Creator Connections, then you can accept that right then, right? So for example, I always use this mouse. If this mouse, which by the way, my favorite mouse of all time, it's actually called a trackball. I'm a nerd. You said, I'm hoping that someday the program is in Spanish. So I am recording videos in Spanish and in English. It's pretty smart, man. It's actually really smart. That reminds me of something, and I'll get to that in a second. So if you do a video for this on-site video, you've uploaded it to the product page, and then later you see that a campaign becomes available for that particular, you don't have to ask for a free sample. You don't have to wait to do anything. You just accept, link it, right? And you'll be able to start earning money to it. That's the first thing that I missed a year ago whenever I joined. I did not know that. Once you know that, it kind of changes the game a little bit because you're already making videos anyways. Now what you can do is, and this is something that I do now, is I go to sometimes Creator Connections first and I look for opportunity there. Like right now, what I'm doing is I can't show you because I can't show you my back end because of terms of service, but I go to Creator Connections each day and I start scrolling through the new campaigns that are available to do two things: to see if there are any new campaigns that match videos or products I've already made videos for, right? So for example, if a campaign appears for this and I've already got a video for it, I see that campaign pop up. I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to accept it and go and link it very quickly. So I'm looking for for campaigns for existing products. That's the first thing I'm doing. The second thing that I'm doing is I am looking for campaigns of new opportunity. So these would be campaigns that are for products which I have not yet associated myself. I haven't done anything for them yet, right? So for example, let's take this, right? This box cutter. Let's say a campaign pops up, and I don't own this yet, right? And the campaign pops up, and it expires in 6 months, which is great because it's a long time, which means I have a lot of opportunity to make money from it. And by the way, if you don't know, my last video or the one before, I did a video about the expiration date on Creator Connections campaigns for either for you, Lewis, or anybody that watches this later, about why that number is important. But let's say it expires in 6 months, which is awesome. Let's say that it's a product which matches my personal criteria. So it's been selling, right? So when you go to the product page, it says 50 sold, 100 sold, 500 sold. And if we're lucky, 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000. But it's been selling, right? It has to say some number and no other influencer criteria on it. I would look at that campaign and go, man, this thing's open for a long time. It's selling already, and there's no other influencer videos on it. If it matches that general set of criteria, then what I'll typically do is I'll order that product, personally order it. I'm not going to message the brands and say, send me one, please. And I'm not going to wait around for them to respond. I want that product tomorrow, basically. And then I'm going to make that video as soon as I get it. I'm going to upload it to on-site, right? Like the ones you're already doing. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept that campaign and I'm going to link those things together. So that's for me where the Creator Connections changed the game for me. Once I realized on-site videos counted, that allows me to now go into Creator Connections and look for those new opportunities that allow me to make an on-site video that I don't already have, not just to earn on-site, but also now to earn as part of the Creator Connections. So I think that it's worth it, but you have to be a little bit strategic. The free sample thing, look, there are people in the Facebook groups that are all about the free samples from the brands, right? They're either looking for people that say they do offer free samples, or they're like, just go ahead and message them and ask for a free sample or whatever the thing is, right? And like, I'm not interested unless it's something really expensive, because for me, like I said, I want that product tomorrow. I don't want to wait around for a week to see if that brand responds to me and says yes. Most of them don't even respond. Time in limbo, especially if it's a campaign that has an expiration date, maybe of like only more months or something like that. Like, I want that thing as soon as I can. I want to make that video, because if it is a money-making opportunity, for example, what if it's a 50% commission campaign? All you need to do is sell 2, and you have recouped your investment into it, right? So if something costs $50 or $20 or whatever, if it's a 50% campaign, if it's already been selling, if it says 100, 200, 300, 500 sold in the last month, and there are no other influencer videos, no competition at all, you got a pretty good chance of making your money back pretty quick and making money on top of that, which is obviously the point of all that. So I say all of that to say, Creator Connections, the way that I see it now, like I said before, to me it was an add-on program. I'm kind of looking at it a little bit now like it's actually the main program because of its earning potential, right? Great example of this is I have like 2,500 videos on my storefront, my Amazon storefront. And I am currently, over the last 30 days, I think I'm at like 8,600 or something like that. Desert Grown Garden, hey, what's up? Thank you for joining. A couple of questions for me. I'll get to those. Yep, please put them in there, and I'll get to those here in just a second. Appreciate you. Oh, no. Okay, so Louise, no. Creator Connection, they're anything. It doesn't matter. The orientation doesn't matter on these, and it doesn't matter where the traffic is coming from. It just so happens that on-site videos are easy because they're already there. You don't have to drive somebody to Amazon. They're already on Amazon because they're watching the on-site videos, right? Those are the videos you're already uploading to your storefront, right? So those, it doesn't matter. You do them upside down. And if somebody watches it and then buys it, it doesn't really matter. Talking about like YouTube, you can put them on YouTube. It doesn't matter if they're horizontal, upside down, inverted, black and white. It doesn't matter what the thing is, as long as it's sending that traffic from that source over to Amazon. It doesn't matter. All Amazon wants to, what Amazon does is it tracks basically your store ID and associates it with a purchase. So somebody buys this, right? After they've watched my video on my storefront or on YouTube or whatever the thing is, and they can see that my affiliate or my associate ID is connected to that. Amazon doesn't care what that video was about. All they care about is that you did something to convert a sale. So that does not matter whatsoever. So hopefully some of that answers your questions on Creator Connections. Feel free to keep dropping. I'm going to hang out here for a while. Excuse me. that frozen pizza I was eating just all of a sudden hit weird. Desert, so what tools, if any, do you use to decide what CC or regular products to review? Okay. Two separate probably answers to that based off of each platform, right? When it comes, well, actually, they're sort of connected. So let me start with the Creator Connections part, right? Sure thing, Lewis. Creator Connections, there are no current tools like extensions or add-ons or anything like that that interact with Creator Connections. You know, because like, and I'm going to get to this in a second, like Fluencer Fruit is an extension that you can use on the Amazon website. IPX is an extension you can use on the Amazon website. But because of Creator Connections being actually on like a different domain name, it doesn't really interact in the same way that the extensions can on Amazon. And so for me, when I'm on Creator Connections and I am looking for opportunities, new campaigns to participate, two things that I do on Creator Connections. One is every day whenever I check it, I am checking to see if there are any new campaigns which already match things I've done content for, right? So back to my mouse example, if I've already done an on-site video for this and I see a campaign that matches, I just accept it, link the content to that. That's the first thing I do. The second thing that I do is I am also looking for to your question, new opportunity to participate with products which I have not yet done so. I haven't made anything for them. So, for example, if I'm scrolling through and frankly, it just requires a lot of clicking because it's a little bit more physically taxing with Creator Connections, a lot of clicking and backing out, clicking back out. But let's say I see a creator campaign for this, right? Box cutter. And let's pretend I don't own this right now. If it's a product that I think that I can do a video for, I don't have to be Martin Scorsese. I just have to be able to make a video for it in some form or fashion, right? If I think I can do it, I will look at the product or products, because sometimes Creator Connections has multiple products within a campaign. I'll go through each of them, click it, open up the new tab, and look at that product. When I'm looking at that product page, I'm just using the same criteria that I use whenever I am doing regular on-site product research, right? The methodology for choosing the products is the same regardless of where I'm at. And that is, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you may already know this, I'm just looking for a general set of criteria that matches. So I want to make sure that it has a sales history, because the majority of products on Amazon are never going to sell. And I want to make sure that people are already seeing this thing, right? They already know it exists and they have been purchasing it. It's not a guarantee it's going to continue to sell, but past behavior is often an indicator of the potential of future behavior, right? So I want to make sure it already has a heartbeat. The second thing is I want no other influencer videos on this whatsoever. And really, I just want there to be one brand video. I'm actually going to do a video tomorrow about the impact of multiple brand videos. I did another data analysis because I'm a nerd and I can't help myself, about the impact of when there are multiple brand videos, even if you're the only influencer video, how that impact, and it matters. I'm actually kind of shocked by it. But anyways, that's what I'm looking for. It doesn't matter if I'm doing it strictly for on-site or if I'm doing it through Creator Connections. My product research is generally the same. Now, if it's just for on-site, if you put Creator Connections aside, I am currently using Fluencer Fruit. I just started last week. I had written some of my own scripts that were actually pretty awesome. Not to toot my own horn, but would go through a bunch of products very quickly. And if it matched my criteria, it'd basically tell me, here's the ones that match your criteria. Fluencer Fruit is actually and I've used IPX of Fluencer Fruit. I think I've just liked Fluencer Fruit a little bit better. Still in the testing mode, loving what I'm seeing so far. But it does kind of a similar thing, which iterates over product details for those. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. You don't have to do that though. I did a video maybe like 2 or 3 videos ago of how you can do that manually, which I actually think is a really good practice to learn how to do that manually, because it allows you to sort of slow down and look at your eyes, sort of get trained on what to look for on the products or different things like that. So, but with Creator Connections, it's a lot of clicking, a lot of looking at campaigns, clicking into it to read the details, and then clicking back out, going to the next campaign. Most of those campaigns are not worth it, in my opinion, as far as the expiration date's too soon. I don't want to accept a campaign that expires next month. Like, that's not enough time for me to make my money back. I'm not really too concerned about commission rates. Obviously, the higher the commission rate, the more confident I feel about accepting it. So hopefully some of that answers your question. Feel free to fill in some of those blanks there, Desert, if I missed a few of those things. Lewis, I'm a bronze status influencer. Does that? No. I saw that coming. Does the status really matter when it comes to carousel video placement? Oh, that's actually different. I don't think so. There's a theory. Nothing has been shown or proven or anything like that it actually matters. I have not seen any sort of verification of that so far. And so as of right now, I would say probably not. Is it possible to rank your way into the top carousel placement? Well, here's the thing. You don't have to worry about placement if you're the only video there. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things I think about placement that I think that we get too distracted by in the program is, I preach and my data shows that if you're the only influencer video in that upper carousel, then like you get 100% of that capture rate. You're not splitting that with anybody, and you don't have to worry about things like, just in case the status matters, in case bronze matters or silver matters, whatever. You sort of get to walk. You don't have to worry about that anymore because you are now the only video. I don't know. and it shows specifically that status is correlating at all to placement. And in fact, if I remember, I think Amazon might have come out and said that that's not the case. If that's true or not, who knows? Like sometimes I don't know if Amazon is aware of what's reality and not, but I don't think so far. But this, keep concentrating on products, keep trying to gear yourself towards products that have one brand video in the upper carousel and no influencer videos. And the more you can concentrate on that, the less you have to worry about if you're number 1 or 2 or 3. You always will be number 1, right? Viral view, I have not seen that. I will check that out. I've tried the IPX one before. Fluencer Fruit has some stuff on it that I like. Like one of the things is when you're on your storefront, like the back end on the manage videos page, it has the ability to show you which videos you've made that have dead product related, right? So, sometimes you'll make an older video and you may not be here yet, Lewis, because you've only got 50 something videos, but over time, what happens is sometimes these products will either deactivate, they'll become deleted, they're no longer on Amazon. So now you've got a video for a product, which is not any good. The problem is sometimes they actually just change the ID. A seller will, for some reason, delete the current ID that you've linked, and they'll do the exact same product on a different ID. So that allows me to that allows you to basically find videos and edit it and switch your ID from the dead one to a new one. So it's one of my favorite things actually about Fluencer Fruit. Also using viral view there as well. Love your script for finding campaigns. Perfect. Thank you. You have videos for genius. Any script tool for Amazon Pass purchases? No. No, I don't. And for me, I think, well, let me ask you this. Can you, I don't have anything yet, but can you clarify what you would, are you wanting like a list of everything that you've purchased and like the IDs for each of those so that maybe you can connect those to creator connections? Or what would that benefit you if I could write a script for that? Be curious your thought on it. Lewis, are we late to the game? Ooh, maybe the program will replace old videos with better quality videos. Lewis, when you say, are we late to the game, which game specifically? What context are we talking about there? I just want to make sure that I'm answering the right thing. Hello, whoever viewer number 3 is. Welcome. I don't know if you're a subscriber or if you're a rando, but if you're a subscriber, feel free to say hello in the chat. Love to see who you are. And if not, if you're just a rando, thanks for hanging out and just talking some Amazon influencer program nonsense here today while I eat a frozen pizza. And I know there's only a couple of you in here, but if you wouldn't mind, if you get a chance, hit that thumbs up button on your screen somewhere. I don't know what it does. It makes me feel good. If nothing else, it might not actually do anything. Yep, exactly. Okay, so you're wanting to cross-reference that with that. Or I'm going to guess also you're wanting to know which products you have already purchased, not just for creator connections, but because that way you'll know I have an on-site video opportunity here, your on-site video. And then if there's a campaign separately, you can link that. So I think that I don't have anything for that yet. I'll have to think about that one because that's pretty interesting to thought process there. I just went through and clicked. I clicked forever. I think my Amazon account has been around since they were just selling books. I just kept going back and back. So that's interesting. The script would have to obviously iterate over it. Iterating over each product's not a problem. It would extract ID. It would just be flipping through to the next page to see. Let me do a little bit of thought of that. I'll see what I can come up with. Keep an eye on the page. If I can make it happen, I'll upload a video for that. Many of the older influencers made whatever quality videos by the dozens, and they took valuable carousel real estate. Many of them made whatever quality videos by the dozens. Are you saying that they're making multiple videos for the same products? I see a desert. I see what you're asking there. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to see what I can I'll have to see what I can do with that. That shouldn't be too hard as long as I can figure out how to make it change pages, go to the pagination thing from one page to two pages to make sure that it gathers everything. I'll see what I can do on that. The videos were just okay. So, I mean, here's the deal. I do think that even though Amazon's never confirmed this, I do think that Amazon's in this to make money, and they want videos in there that give them the best chance to make money, right? And I would have to imagine that things like conversion rates, click-through rates, things like that actually matter. I don't know if they're super concerned about one person making multiple videos on products, because that person might just make really good videos. But the problem is, I think that multiple videos in the carousel by the same person actually don't convert as well, because if you're a user, a customer, and you open up that carousel and you see the same bozo like me in two different thumbnails, I don't want to see me twice. You know what I mean? Like, one of them's just not going to convert better. And so I think that's the thing. It's always going to push, I think, for higher performing videos towards the top, regardless of quality. That's why I've always kind of said that if you are going to do multiple videos, I think you need to be very careful about your thumbnail selection. Like, you don't want to make them look similar whatsoever. This takes more time to do that. But here's the other part too. I've never been a big fan of doing multiple videos on the same product, unless you're doing like one horizontal and one vertical. Because, like, what if that product doesn't sell? You just doubled your time making videos for a product that doesn't sell. And if it does sell, really just one of your videos is going to make it sell. I mean, it's not like both of them can make it sell. Only one of them makes it sell. Like, I'd rather do just like one vertical, one horizontal if I'm going to do two. I do like to do comparison videos. So, for example, I might go, if I like vacuum cleaners, I'll do a video for this vacuum cleaner. I'll do a video for this vacuum cleaner. So those are two different pages, but then I'll do one more that's a versus. And that third video will show up on both pages. I actually did a video about how to take two products and turn it into 4 total video placements. I'll do something like that. But yeah, Desert, you're with me there. Probably a feature that lets you see all your past purchases and their virality score. Well, hey-oh. That might be the answer then. Do you recommend text on your thumbnail? So I've got a video also on that. I start a lot of my sentences with this, Lewis. I do have a video about a data analysis that I did about thumbnail placement, and if there was any sort of data that showed that by having customized thumbnails that you got better video placement in the upper carousel. And what I found was that, I can't remember the exact number, it's on that video, that out of the products that I checked, and I can't remember how many was it. It was like 100 different products or something like that. I don't remember. But I think it was like 72% of products that had 5 videos. So I want to make sure every product had 5 videos. That way it was a data analysis was equal for every product across the board. If there was 5 videos, that if you had a customized thumbnail in any fashion, whether it was an arrow, a text, arrow and text, whatever it was, a customized thumbnail was in the number 1 position in like 72% of the data that I checked. Other than that, the rest 2, 3, 4, 5 thumbnails with customization beat those without. It was like 63% or something. So I found that generally thumbnails with customization performed better or were ranking better in the carousel. But here's the thing. I don't think that was happening because of the thumbnails itself. I think customized thumbnails are typically just more of, it's a habit that I think influencers who are putting more effort into their videos just do, right? It's not somebody that's just being lazy and wants to throw something up real quick, because then those people don't make thumbnails, right? But I think that people that are just putting more effort into their videos, whether that's through the quality or whatever it is, I think they just happen to do customized thumbnails more often than not, which probably means they have a higher click-through rate, right? So I don't think the thumbnails themselves have an impact on ranking. I just think that the customized thumbnails are a symptom of people that are spending more time on their videos, who probably get more click-through percentage, and that puts them higher in the rankings. So it doesn't matter if it's text or if it's arrow or whatever it is. Here's the other thing. Whenever I did that data analysis, it impacted me enough that I went from not doing custom thumbnails to always doing custom thumbnails. Take from that what you will, but I do it all the time now. So whenever I started the program, I did them back then, but I didn't have any proof that it was making any sort of difference. And I thought, this is just taking up time. I don't think it matters. But after the data analysis, almost every video that I do now has a custom thumbnail. And this also becomes extremely important because one of the videos I got coming up talks about how it seems whenever there are multiple videos in the watch. I didn't realize that. I thought they were do go in and choose which videos they want to watch. I do think that video with custom thumbnails just grab a little bit better. So I do them on all of them now. So again, take from that what you want. Let me see here. I binge halfway through your channel and hit the like button. Hey, my man, let's go. In CC, thank you for that, Lewis. In CC, I see multiple campaigns for the same products. Do you accept multiple campaigns and upload the same vid? I do not. I only take the one. Some people will do all of them, and nobody has seen any sort of impact where it's like it's producing, or I have not heard anybody say that they have any sort of evidence that you're not going to earn on all of them. Basically, the only benefit that I have seen to accepting more than one campaign for the same product is if one of them is going to extend beyond. So for example, I accepted one campaign. It ends on December 1st, right? So it's running currently right now. I just saw another one pop up today that ends like in January, same exact campaign, same exact commission rate and everything. So I went ahead and accepted that second one and added my content to it, because that way, whenever the one ends on December 1st, the other one will be right there up and running. But if I see multiple campaigns right now, I'm not going to be able to earn for both of them. So I typically just kind of ignore that. But I focus more on, actually one caveat to that. If a new campaign comes around for a product I have already accepted a campaign for, and is at a higher commission rate, I will go ahead and do that one also and add my, I don't know if it's going to make any difference. I don't know which one takes hierarchy there, but if it's the same commission rate, same dates and all that stuff, I don't touch it. The only time I accept that is if there's something different about the new one. Further extension date, higher commission rate, and then I'll add it in and just let the cards kind of fall where they may. Upload the same vids as, yep, that was right. Seems like they are date related. Correct. Andrea, what's up? Hello. I couldn't comment until I was subscribed for at least 10 minutes. That's how we get you. That's how we pull people in. In your analysis, did you find any data that show the first video in the carousel faceless versus showing their face? I have not done that one yet. I haven't done any sort of face versus not face or whatever. I do have some thoughts behind that though. Whenever it comes to doing that type of deal, the one big one for me, whenever it comes to, and thank you for subscribing, I appreciate that. The thing for me when it comes to faceless versus face, I don't love putting my face on a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but I do, because it's just, not that people aren't going to get your stuff regardless, but it's just a little bit harder to swipe your stuff if you're all over it, right? Now, somebody, for me, my hands are if I did something like this, I could still see it because I would know my tattoos on my fingers. But if you were not a hooligan like me at one point and your hands are tattoo free, it would be easier to probably swipe your stuff. And so that's like my number one thing. I also tend to believe that people tend to be influenced by people that they can relate to, I think, oftentimes, right? Like if you're doing a faceless one and you're just talking about the product, they might get some sort of a sense of like your personality or something through it, but it's a little bit harder if they see me and they're like, gosh, this guy's ugly, I should buy something to help him out. You know what I mean? Like maybe they get something out of like seeing me in person. So I think that from a conversion rate standpoint, I just think that I have to believe, no proof of this yet, I have to just believe that like it has a better impact, like especially for like guy supplements, right? Man supplements, right? I think for me, them seeing me be a dude and being like, hey, here's this thing that I take to make me not feel so old. Doesn't help, but I don't say that on the video. I'm just like, I just take this thing and here's what it tastes like and da-da-da. And maybe because I'm a dude and they can relate to that, or especially like maybe like a guy more my age, like 27, 28. That maybe somebody in that age range would look at me and go like, I identify with that guy say, and I feel that guy's flow. So that's kind of my thought. Long answer to a short question. No, I don't have any data yet. Other than being the only video in the upper carousel, what is the second element that help you? It has to have a heartbeat of sales history, right? So when you're looking at the product page, I want to see it say something there. 50 sold, 100. I mean, I don't love seeing 50, but at least that means it's got a heartbeat, right? It's alive in some form or fashion, right? Um, Now, there's a caveat to this, and I've actually seen this a little bit lately, where some products won't actually say a number right there, but I know that they're selling. And I also use Jungle Scout, and I'll open it on Jungle Scout, and like I got one product that I think it had sold like maybe it was 20,000 in the last month or something, but it didn't say that on the page. I don't know why. I've seen that a couple times lately when that number is fairly significant. It shows it on most pages, but for some reason it doesn't. But generally speaking, I'm really in that like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. That's like my sweet spot. I rarely see 10K. I got one product right now that's set at 100K per month. I'm just like, I mean, I'm not getting all those. It is my highest selling product. I got a video somewhere on it. Somebody's seeing it eventually. But generally, those are the two pieces. It is and by the way, when you talk about being the only influencer video on the product, keep in mind that there are some categories on Amazon that do not allow Amazon influencer videos in the upper carousel, right? Clothing is a great example of that. And you can tell if a product will allow you in the upper carousel if you see that thumbnail. And I talk about this in some of my other videos. You'll look at the product and you'll see the thumbnail. Now, normally that thumbnail, the video thumbnail, will say video or 2 videos or 3. It'll say something underneath it. That's typically a sign that you are going to have opportunity to get in that upper carousel. If it's just a thumbnail with the play button in the middle of it, nothing else underneath it, doesn't say a word underneath it, you're not going to be able to get it. I don't know why they do it like that, but that's how you can tell. And remember, you have to have at least one brand video up there in order for your video to be placed there. You can't have an Amazon influencer video in the upper carousel if a brand video does not already exist there. Just FYI. Only being up carousel. So being good looking is the secret sauce. Whenever I find somebody that knows, I'll tell you. I'll go around asking some hunks. I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy, man. Hey, love that, Andrea. Love that worked for you. Any idea, did that end up snagging you some extra campaigns? It's, you know what, that script's a little bit weird, that I've seen some weird behavior that I've seen out of it lately. I mean, not lately, but some people have reported back something interesting happening, which is that script on some of their IDs, they'll put the ID in and it'll populate a campaign which has already expired, which it's not the script's fault. It's just, for whatever reason, there are certain IDs that when you put them in, it will pull up something that's already like, that's not available, which, you know, very classic Amazon tomfoolery is basically what that is. I'm gonna take my pizza real quick. I'm reading that, Andrea, that when you spit. I shouldn't have taken a bite of that pizza. I see your question. Give me a second here. I should have brought something to drink. All right. I have not. There's not a lot of them out there, you know, like there's just, and I don't know how they're doing. So one of the things I think that people are, hey, I see that 200 more. Let's go. That's what I was hoping for. Here's the thing with people that have been around for a long time, right? And I say a long time, you know, I've been in for a year and a half, but it's not a long time. Some people have been in like 3 or 4 years, whenever it ever started. I made a video about this, and my theory is that, see, back before the floodgates opened and they let a bunch of people in, there was no oversaturation, and you could make videos for pretty much anything and live in the lap of luxury without anybody else coming in and crowding your space on that product carousel for a while. You know, so like if I did a video for like this mouse, even though it's there wasn't a lot of influencers floating around looking to scalp my commissions, right? They weren't looking for anything like that. Like, so whenever they open the floodgates, whenever Amazon opened the floodgates, the problem is if a product is selling well, it like shines a spotlight on that product for everybody to run to it. You know what I mean? Like, because if a product is selling well, then chances are that influencer probably already has that product in their house. You know what I mean? Like I have this theory that most people buy from a very small percentage of products on Amazon, right? So if you're going to buy, for example, a collagen protein powder, you're probably going to buy the Vital Proteins brand. It's like the most popular, and people do buy other ones, but generally that's what they're going to. And I think that's true for just about every category. People tend to flock to the same very small group of products. So if you were an Amazon influencer 3 years ago and you did a video for that product, there wasn't any other influencers around hardly. So you sat there on the upper carousel forever and had great exposure. But now that everybody's in, they're flocking to that same small group of products that influencers back then already made videos for and was making commissions for. So I would not be shocked if people with a lot of videos, like you're talking like over 10,000, have seen a hit from what they were making. They're probably still making pretty good money, but I would imagine there's probably been a drop because of how saturation changes your ability to earn commissions within those. I mean, 10,000 products sounds great, but that's now 10,000 products that are being targeted by other influencers, and they're sneaking on there pretty quick. So I have not, but I'm going to guess that's probably happened pretty often there. You know, the game has just definitely changed a little bit. I actually had this conversation with somebody this past week about the program. We were kind of talking about how you didn't have to be looking over your shoulder all the time whenever you were in the program before. You know what I mean? You felt pretty good about making a video and being the only one on there for quite some time. And now what you have is you have dum-dums like me that come in writing scripts to do product research. You know what I mean? Like there are people coming in like running businesses. There are video farms. There are people that are coming in and they're putting an ad on Fiverr, or they're putting an ad on like Upwork or something. And they're like, hey, if you have ever bought anything from Amazon, make me a 2-minute video about that and I'll send you $10. So some of these profiles that you're going to see, and you may have already seen, are video farms. They're legit people. I mean, some of them aren't, but some of them are legitimate people, and they are hiring these things out and just uploading. That way they never have to have the products themselves. They just have a review video, a legitimate one from somebody. They paid them $10. There are business people that are building now within the program, whereas previously, outside of some examples like WTI, you know, generally people were just happy to upload a video and make a bunch of good money from it. But I think that's changed everything now. Is a lot of the people, my theory is that when we hear people talking about how the program has gone downhill, or they're just not making very much money like they quote unquote used to, they just didn't have the saturation. You know what I mean? That's the problem. It's not that something's wrong with the program. The problem is there are people that are coming in. The program is really still pretty much the same. You just have to now figure out, you have to be able to compete now. You can't just throw a video up there and make money, I think, like you used to. Yeah, you know, and the funny thing about those video farms is it's easy to look at them and go, they're probably stealing. You know, they might be. But usually a good telltale sign is go back to the face versus faceless thing. Most of the accounts that I see stealing, if they're dumb enough to use face, they're usually caught pretty quick. That's why whenever you see those accounts with a lot of faces, I think it's probably a 50-50 shot. It's either a video farm or it's somebody that's actually stealing. But and it's hard to tell the difference. I mean, usually you can go through and you can. The thing is, if somebody's going to steal your video, it's going to end up on your video is still going to be on that product too. You know what I mean? Like you're both going to be on there with the exact same video. So usually you can click into those products and look at the carousel and see if it's somebody actually cheating. So, usually not. And again, thank you guys for joining. I don't plan these. It's usually just like if I have nothing else to do, if I'm going to shoot some video and just throw it up and see if anybody wants to kind of hop on and have any sort of questions or anything like that. I do have a video coming out this week. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I've had this theory for a while that the number of brand videos, if you're looking at the upper carousel, that the more brand videos that exist, it actually has a negative impact. Even if you're the only influencer video on the carousel, So I just did a data analysis of just under 500 products that I had sold over the last month. And I wasn't even looking for the brand video output. It just kind of was like right there in front of me. So I want to do a video on that this week on what I found. It's actually, like I said, I wasn't even looking for it, but it was obvious as soon as I looked at the data. I was like, oh, that actually does have an impact on, because, for a long time I've been saying my best case scenario, if I'm looking at a product, there's a sweet spot whenever it comes to the criteria, which is it's been selling, right? Obviously, the more, the better. So 50 sold, 100 sold, 1,000 sold, 5,000 sold, whatever it is in the last month, some sort of heartbeat. And the second part is it needs to have only one brand video and and 0 influencer videos. I want to be the only influencer video. So like one brand video and nothing else on there. And it has to allow for influencer videos in that upper carousel. And there's just some part of me that I keep looking at these products, it doesn't have any influencer videos on it, but I'll go like, man, it's got like 5 brand videos on it. If you think about that from a customer standpoint, customer opens that up, pop-up appears, right? And you see your brand videos first, and then you have your influencer videos, if any influencer videos exist. If there's 4 brand videos on there, do customers know the difference between a brand video and like a related to video? Like I'm probably, honestly, if I'm a customer, if I see those 2 labels, I'm probably more inclined to go through the brand videos first. I think. I'm not sure. If that's true, and if there's 3 videos, 4 videos, I've seen like 5 videos, and you're the only influencer video there, yeah, that's great to be the only influencer video. But my theory has been that's a lot of videos to get through. It's too many options. And so that's been my theory. And I think I disproved it this week with my data analysis. We'll see what actually happens. I saw that heart. Thank you very much for that. Really excited for that. I keep just trying to come up with like different ways to, again, this to me sort of goes back to people that are running like business, within the influencer program. Like product research is the number one thing that matters now in this program. I got no doubt about that. Like, because product research doesn't just help you find products to participate with, but it helps you to kind of like understand the saturation of those products too. You didn't have to worry about saturation before. All you had to have was like, is it selling or is it not? Does everyone's CC feed look the same, or is it personalized? I don't know, but until you just now asked me that question, I would not have thought that there was any sort of personalization to it. I think everybody sees everything, is my guess, because that's coming from like, so brands are signing up for the Creator Connections campaign. You know what I mean? So it would behoove the brand. I've been saying behoove a lot. It's like one of my favorite words, right? I'm not even sure if I'm using it right. But it would benefit the brand for as many people as possible to see it. So I think that it's probably being shown to everybody until I think that I saw something that said something like maybe either when the budget limit gets reached, I think the campaign like maybe might automatically end, and like then you just wouldn't, if you haven't accepted it. If you weren't part of the campaign, it'll just disappear off of your thing, but it'll show up in somebody else's accepted. I think that's how that works. I'm not exactly sure, but we're talking about available campaigns. My gut says it's probably being shown to everybody to make sure that it's fair to all of the brands that have signed up for that, because brands do have to sign up for it. I don't know what what their criteria is. There's got to be some sort of like a barrier for them to participate. Otherwise, every brand would probably just be although most brands don't want to be paying out extra money. That's probably the other part too, is they don't want to be paying extra money for this content. So maybe that's why everybody doesn't sign up, is they don't want to actually do that. Just my theory. Creator Connection. Actually, I found a campaign that I didn't realize I had accepted it and it expired. I had made really good money off. Actually, let me take a look. I was going to tell you very quickly. Slight humble brag. Let me see here. Not a brag, but I forgot what this is called. That's not right. Oh yeah. So I had accepted this campaign previously twice, and for this one here, one of the campaigns, it ran for just over a month. It says 9/20 through 10/22, and I made $283 on that one. But then what happened was there was one I accepted a month earlier than that. So this one 8 through 10. So I made 68 on that one. So I think what happened is I accepted the two. Again, this is the same products basically. I started with one, a new one popped up that had a longer expiration date on it. So I went ahead and accepted both of them, and it making, 200 or 300 and, $50 on it. I didn't even realize that it had expired. I was going through, just scrolling through, because it's what I do. Ooh, there's another one of mine that this expired. It just became available again. 30% commission rate. Wee. I didn't even realize a new one had popped up for that. So I was just scrolling through Creator Connections earlier, and I saw that one, and I just re-accepted it, and it's like through like January 1st. So really excited about that. Have you tried Vertical Inspire videos or live in Amazon? So I did a video about this not long ago, and the video is titled something like "Big Changes Coming to the Upper Carousel" or something like that. Because last week or the week before, I saw for the first time where Amazon was testing Inspire style videos on mobile in the upper carousel. So not in the Inspire section like normal. You got to hit that little thing at the bottom. This was like on the mobile. If you clicked on the video in the upper carousel, it went to an Inspire type experience, vertical video. First time I've ever seen that. Typically, I don't mess around with the vertical videos. I've done a few, and even though sometimes they'll get a lot of clicks or quote unquote views or whatever it is, that's just people scrolling it like TikTok. You know what I mean? It'll pop up in Inspire. But the problem with the Inspire program to me is that, see, if you make an upper carousel, or if you make a video on a product and you're looking at that product and you're in the upper carousel, you're wanting to know about that product. Going back to my mouse, if I click on the video for this and I'm on the product page, I'm watching videos about this. I'm interested in this. Whereas on Inspire, it's just a lot of different stuff. And a lot of the stuff you may not be interested in. So I think user behavior is more likely just to keep scrolling than scrolling. So I once I saw them testing that in the upper carousel, I started doing a little bit more vertical, but still predominantly horizontal. Do you know what could have caused the crazy jump in clicks over the last day or two? My offsite clicks. I saw that on mine also, a pretty significant jump. I don't remember if it ended up correlating into any sort of like additional sales. I don't think it did. And no, I don't. I don't know what that was. I actually maybe thought, until I saw other people mentioning it, I thought that maybe I had, stumbled upon something that went viral or whatever. But turns out I don't know exactly what that was. Somebody mentioned something that they had, because sometimes on mobile, the lower carousel, they'll hide it behind a drop down, and I think maybe I saw somebody say that they unhid it. So maybe there was a jump there because they made that more visible. I'm not exactly sure, but I have seen other people talking about that as well. My on-site clicks went from 600. Hey, you better find some wood and knock on it. Something like that happens. You wanna hold on to it. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they were doing with that situation over there. I will say the other thing too is Black Friday is obviously coming up here. You can download the current list of deals from your Amazon backend. Heads up, it's like 450,000 lines long. That's not an exaggeration. It's like a lot. I think that Prime in October was like 320 or something like that. So it is a lot. The way that I approach something like this, and I'm still, these special events are tough. If you happen to see my other videos about the last Prime that I did, I think that I invested like $2,500 for Prime, and I missed the mark on it as far as I invested in a product that I just think that I don't know if sales matter. So this is another holiday that I'm looking at, or another event where I'm really trying to consider what the purpose of the event is for, not just because there's products that are available, but obviously holiday stuff is here. So looking at like holiday types of items on that list, and then I'm deleting everything else. And the way that I do that is I'll sort it by category. So if you sort it by category, you can delete a lot of lines at once. So I can delete anything that has to do with I'm deleting anything that has to do with, for example, because those also don't allow videos in the upper carousel. List is available there. Maybe worth it to spend a few days going through and whittling that down. and seeing if you come up with some sort of of opportunity there. We'll see what happens. And post-election, that's a good point. That is a good point. And so with the holiday thing, the way that you can consider approaching that is think about, product selection, product research becomes a little bit different when you're talking about targeting for specific types of holidays or events. So Prime Day was one, and I missed the mark on that one because I didn't consider the event, right? I was like, there's products with opportunity, and those products are actually doing quite well. A lot of them are in Creator Connections, and I've already made my money back on them, but they didn't pop during Prime Days. If you think about the holidays, so I'm targeting products that matter during the holidays. What matters during the holiday? Gift type things, right? And I'm not buying Christmas stuff like as far as trees or wreaths or decorations. I don't love products that are seasonal only, because once the New Year's flips, you're not selling hardly any of that stuff until maybe next November, but probably December. So I'm avoiding anything Christmas-y related. But when we talk about like gifts can sell all year round, but they really sell right now. So toys is a good choice. Just a heads up on toys. I think that commission percentage might be lower than some others. So just a heads up on that. But the volume might make up for that, right? Things like, like for me, like what do dads like? Tool, or even like teen boys, especially, get a lot of like toolkits, like those little sort of like multi toolkits you can carry in a thing. Like a ton of those sell. Beard stuff for dads, if you're thinking about that kind of stuff. And again, these are products that can sell all year round. They still have to fit my overall criteria, right? The things I talked about before. I'm not going to participate in it. I'm not going to buy a toy just because it's Christmas. The toy still has to fit my criteria overall, and I want to make sure, so I've done some remote control cars lately, which are kind of, by the way, kind of a pain to do, because like to demo it, you have to like actually like take it out of the box and like put it on the ground, and it takes longer than I like. But those are just some examples. If you have a special lady in your life, a special guy in your life, think about what types of products do people like that typically get. I'm trying to think what was one I was looking at here not long ago. Stuffed animals. I was doing some like stuffed animal type stuff, right? Because I was thinking about sort of like babies and like really young children. So I did some videos for like those types of things. Again, thinking about the holidays and whatnot coming up. So keep that in mind whenever you're looking at that list that's there. And stay away from the seasonal type items. You don't want to do with it. And seasonal type items, it's not just Christmas. You really have to watch for the trap of, and I talked about this on a last video or a couple videos ago, like leaf blowers, for example. They sell really good during August and September and October. But like once you kind of get to like late November, they don't sell again until like the next fall. And so you really have to make sure that if you are buying products to make videos for, that you can recoup that money. You got to sell a lot of them very quickly. So just a heads up on that. What looks like it could be a good product that matches your overall criteria could actually end up trapping you. And then you have to wait till next year to see if you can make your money back if your sales don't do what you're hoping that they do. Have you tried the other AIP in other countries? I have not. Thank you for bringing that up, because that was actually something I was going to mention to you earlier when you said that about doing some of them in Spanish. I know that the Canadian and the UK things that exist, and to be honest, like I don't think that I have the ability to stretch my brain amongst multiple platforms with this stuff. Because there's some days where for me, I'm doing 30 to 40 videos and uploading them to my storefront. And it takes everything sort of out of me to do that, to be able to do that. And frankly, my it's going so well that I feel like I have to stay on the path that I'm on. The idea obviously would be that if you can, and maybe I need to look at it and then like have my brother do all the work for me and upload it and do everything. I just don't, I work a regular job, I got a full-time job, and this is like the thing that I do after that whenever my wife's asleep and nobody else is around. And so I know it exists. I have also seen maybe there's some issues with maybe like the Canadian one, especially like something weird with like the payouts or something aren't the same, or maybe it was the UK. I don't know. But I haven't paid a whole hell of a lot of attention, to be honest. So I'm sticking with like the with the US one. Hey, Londo, good to see you again. Do you ever delete vids that are getting high clicks but no slash few sales? Definitely seems to help, as they seem to cap clicks at times. Oh, you're poking the bear, my man. Holy cow, Dino. I bet that is a long process. Londo, here's my theory on this, and I'm hoping that at some point I'm either proven wrong or proving right, and I'm okay with either. I don't know. I mean, if you're getting clicks on something and you're not getting sales on something, if we stick to the basics of the program, let's go with that. What we know to be true about the program generally is that we earn if a product is selling and somebody watches a video, or vice versa, right? So if we believe those things to be true generally, I know there's some nuance and maybe some question about that, but let's presume that the basics are true, right? If somebody comes to me and says, I'm getting clicks, but I'm not getting any sales converted, if I compare that to what we know about those two things in the program, my thought would immediately go to, are we sure that the product is selling, right? And starting from there, right? So using something like Jungle Scout or Fluencer Fruit or something like that to verify what the sales is, because somebody could watch your videos a million times, right? And if they're not converting, if they're not actually buying the product for some reason or another, then that would be, it would look like it's not actually converting to anything. But I don't delete typically anything, to be honest with you, man. Like, hey Ben, what's up? I don't typically delete anything, even if it's a deactivated ASIN on a video and it's not even valid anymore. Maybe actually, you know what? This happened to me just this week, where I saw a product pop not long ago, and it was a really good product, and then it disappeared. Whenever you went to that same link, it was a sorry about that, and that dog's on there, the Amazon dog or one of them. I think there's maybe several dogs, and I was just like, oh, the product's like gone now. And it was about 3 days of that came back. I just was like, let me just check again, and that dang thing popped back up again. It was dead for several days, and now it's back up there, and it's selling. The exact same ID still says the same number sold. So I don't delete anything because of that, just kind of as an in case. But Londo, I don't have a for sure answer to you on that. I think that I just keep relying on, if I believe that the basics are true, and if I'm getting a video that's getting clicks but no sales, or I'm not making any commissions, it's not showing up on my list, I'm probably going, hey, I need to verify if this thing's actually selling or not, right? Or selling enough to where I should be able to make something off of it. Because even if you're the only influencer video on there, that last data analysis I showed that even if you were the only influencer video on the product, you're typically going to make somewhere around 3.4% capture rate of the total sold. So in other words, if that product sells 100 in the last 30 days, you're going to sell 3 or 4, whatever the number is. If it sells 1,000, you're going to sell 34. So I'd want to know that. I want to know if it's selling. If it's selling enough for me to make a difference, make an impact. Let me see here. Maybe the thumbnail is good hook, but the message does not. It could be, but so this actually brings up an interesting point. So you're talking about if we're asking the question of if the video is converting or not. Think about this, and this goes back to something that I've been preaching quite a bit: is if your video is not converting, what you're saying there is somebody they're going to another video maybe after your video. Right? Like they're clicking off yours. Because look, if you're the only influencer video on there, to be honest, if they buy the product, you've got it. If they watch your video, there's nobody else for them to turn to. Your video could not be it could stink. That's why a lot of these AI videos you're seeing out there are absolute garbage. I've seen an account the other day that doesn't even show the product on the AI. They couldn't even muster up a screenshot. And if they're the only video on that product and somebody watches it, that account's still going to make money. So to me, this also, that particular part right there of what you said there, Lewis, is maybe they're watching and it's not converting. If you're the only video on there and they buy it, it converts if they watch your video. Maybe that's something. You're right. I ended up deleting some very expensive items that lots of people window shop for, but had posted early on before I understood good criteria, so they weren't good sellers. Yeah. And look, it could be Amazon doing silly stuff that we don't quite, they're not. Amazon's not shy about doing silly stuff that sometimes doesn't quite look right to the eye. So you kind of have to almost take some of this stuff like a little bit of a grain of salt. Like, and that's why I said for me, sometimes I have to go back to like the basics of what I know to be generally true about the program and then match things up against that. And maybe that at least gets me a philosophy or an idea of what could be happening there. Well, a lot of stuff that happens we'll never truly get answers for. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, for you folks that are here, if you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate that. I don't know what it does except for give me better self-esteem. It may do something to the algorithm. I don't know, but not exactly sure. I'm gonna stay on for here about another 10 more minutes or so. You guys feel drop any more questions that you've got for me if you would. I got a couple of videos that I still have to upload tonight. For those of you also that have asked me about this before, I am in the middle of testing out Fluencer Fruit. I'm very impressed by it so far. It actually has allowed me to stop using the custom scripts that I wrote to do product research, which were awesome, and fills in a lot of those gaps. So I'll be doing a video about that here probably in the next couple of weeks about how I'm using Fluencer Fruit to do my to do my research if it continues to go as well. And thank you for the thumbs up, people. Does the video have to be strictly more than 30 seconds for it to convert? Not anymore. Dino, are you talking about Fluencer Fruit? Lewis, they used to have that cap on there, like minimum, where you had to be 30 seconds, and they got rid of that. And it just so happens that almost all the AI now that comes out, it's like 25 seconds or 20 seconds. They really took advantage of that removal of the there may still be some sort of a cap on it, but if there is, it's really, really low. It might be 20 seconds. I don't know, but it's not 30 seconds anymore. But people probably shouldn't be making 20-second videos anyway. So I think as long as you're making something a little bit more than that, that's probably okay. You have to keep in mind that what I have seen is that customers typically are willing to hang around for about a minute on average for videos. People, and this, I don't want to do a soapbox here, but Liz, yeah. Yeah, I've really appreciated her and the way she's been interacting, like even in like the Facebook group, and actually, frankly, seems like really good attitude, which I like that. You ever have those sellers? And again, I don't work with sellers too often anymore. That's why whenever a seller would reach out to me and say, "Hey, can you make like a 5-minute video for this?" And I'm like, first off, these are charging cables. Like, what am I going to talk about for 5 minutes about these charging cables? And secondly, people only nobody wants to watch that. They just want to see me say something for a couple seconds. Like, so a minute, I think, is about the average for that type of stuff, depending on the product. Obviously, some products require a little more. I did a carport last month, and I think that ended up probably 4 minutes, and that was including like a time lapse of me assembling the thing, and then like, here's the top of the carport, like whatever. Here's a car underneath the carport. Wow, look at all this shade. That type of deal. Oh yeah, Lewis, this videos, I was just that in relation to countries are available, for those other accounts, you have to have other influencer accounts. But I was just going to mention that if you didn't know that each country has, I think, their own version of the program, and maybe Spanish videos might work better on that kind of stuff. I don't know for sure. I have not participated. Dino might know if there's a Mexico one or I guess it would be just Mexico. I could be anywhere that speaks Spanish, but not exactly sure. But that's what I was going to talk to you about in regards to the Mexican, the Spanish videos. Let me see here. What was that? What was I going to say there? And by the way, again, thanks you guys for joining. I don't ever plan these. I just kind of throw them up whenever I have a few minutes at night. No AIP. Okay. And just to see if people are on. What's going to be funny about this one here is that it was almost 45, maybe 30, 45 minutes before people started to come in. And that's what I learned last time whenever I did my live. It was it took a while for people to come in. I guess that's like the thing getting put out there or whatever. New video coming this week if you haven't already heard. That's going to be I had a new data analysis of just under 500 products that I thought I was doing it to get a better understanding of influencer saturation and the capture rate for that, for some updated numbers. And what it actually turned out to be, the biggest thing that I learned from this is this was the first time that I actually included the number of brand videos into my data analysis. And I was shook whenever I saw the final numbers on how not just the number of influencer videos negatively impacted your ability to earn in the upper carousel, but how the brand video count actually, and actually the brand video count almost looked a little bit clearer as far as having a negative impact, which it was a theory of mine for a while. I was shocked to see it shake out like that on the data. So I'm gonna be doing a video for that one this week. An eye out for that one. Something else about today is put out a live notification, and I'll try to get in here earlier. I guess it's like a scheduling thing. I'm not scheduling them, am I? That's what I need to do, is some sort of a scheduling something or another. There's something that I think that you guys should keep in mind about these videos, and this is something I've also thought about quite a bit too. Is, I invested hard during Prime Day in October last year, but I did it in the category of supplements, like various types of pills, capsules, whatever the thing was. And typically that's not a category that I would do, but there were several like creator campaigns at the time, so I thought that would help me, and it did. But generally, the supplements did not convert very well, right? And I think that there's got to be some sort of a truth to, even if you're the only influencer in the carousel, I think there's just some products where people don't want to watch a video for it. You know what I mean? Like a Q-tip, for example, right? Take a box of Q-tips. Do people care? I mean, people will eventually stumble. Do people even want to click on a picture to open a carousel or to see, even if it's selling a ton, even if there's opportunity there? Like, think that there are some times whenever we're making our product selection, we have to sort of ask that question of like, does anybody actually care about seeing this? Does this actually do anything? Take a trash bag, for example. Like, maybe it's selling a bunch, and maybe you already have it, but like, do you think somebody's going to watch it? Like, how often, if you're buying trash bags, do you care what anybody says about that trash bag? Generally speaking, you just want the trash bag. I need to throw in my leftovers. Okay. So I think that there are times where products, I have a really good example of this. Last year, there were special edition Oreos that were released, Mario and Luigi Oreos. And I think at the time, there were no other influencer videos on it. And I think it had sold like 30,000 over the course last month. And I thought, I'm going to pull on this. And it just didn't. I mean, I sold a few, and there was no other influence. Nobody else really joined it. And it just didn't. And on the surface, the numbers and everything looked right. But whenever I sat back and I thought about it, I was just like, why would anybody watch a video about an Oreo? Like, Mario's on it. What else do you need? There's no, what do you care what I'm going to say about this Oreo? I can't talk to you about the taste. It's an Oreo. And so I think that there's got to be some sort of truth in that, is when you're thinking about product selection I think people probably tend to watch more videos on like, what does this do? How does this work? How will this help me? What does it look like? Does it smell? Does it smell bad? Whatever it is. I did one for toner that sells a ton, but no one watches often. And that's a good point. Like a printer ink cartridge, generally speaking, people know what that does. And it might sell well, but it's like, I don't think I need to know that. What are you going to do? Show me how dark it prints? You know, or like, boy, look how fine that line is that it was able to print. Lewis, that's a great point. And this is something that I've also said too, in regards to like whenever I don't do a lot of seller free products that are sent to me anymore, but I did a bunch of them for the first year. And even though I didn't make a lot of money, it taught me how to refine my process for making videos. It taught me how to, as you mentioned, communicating. It taught me how to get better about looking here at in the camera. Like it taught me things about verbal pacing and getting comfortable with doing certain things and angles of like holding stuff. Like there's a lot of value in just getting good at what you're doing. And sometimes making commissions would be great, but just because you don't doesn't mean you can't get value out of the process and learning the process. So, hey, ARP, what's up? I appreciate that, man. So I'm totally with you that there's a lot of value in just learning. I'm sitting right here right now. This is like my fourth place that I was at. And each time I would move position, I didn't have to move in my house. I just pick where I want to be. It's because I didn't like where I was at for some reason. I would do some videos and I look at it, and as I'm honing my process and I'm looking. I mean, right now it's a mess behind me, but I got better at not just this, but trying to make my presentation sort of generally better and more appeasing. You can't see all those baseball cards that are sitting back there. I got so many baseball, and yeah, I'm a 47-year-old guy, and I got baseball cards. Big whoop. Go Cardinals. I just made a comparison to off-brand toner. This was Canon, but if you're spending care, that's just what it. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good. Well, think about like things like electronics, right? Things like um, things that have to do a thing. People want to see it do that thing. Does it actually do that thing? Does it not? And toners would be a tough one. A sock would be a tough one. Like, hey, look at these socks. I mean, somebody might go like, yeah, they're comfortable or they're warm, but like people want to see me talk about socks. I do have some sock videos though. I don't sell very many of them. But you know what, Dino, you bring something up that is probably worth mentioning, the comparison thing. Comparison videos I think are extremely powerful. If you go back, there's a video in my catalog that is about how you can use comparison videos to basically turn this versus that 2 products into 4 total video placements. You can go and find my video for that. Basically, double your video placement opportunities simply by having 2 products. That's something that I try to do whenever I am purchasing products. If I see something that matches my criteria, I try to buy 2 that are kind of similar, both that still match my criteria, but then that'll allow me, whenever I get both of those things in, I'll go video 1, video 2, and then comparison video ends up going on both pages as well. So it ends up being 4 total video placement. Which part of the country I'm in? I am in the Midwest, St. Louis, Missouri. Go Blues. Let's go Blues. Go Cardinals. But I've lived all over. I lived in Texas for a while. I lived in Washington State for a while. Back in my 20s, I was a traveling musician and pretty much hit all of it. So I was microphones for me have never been a problem. You got it, Lewis. The only video, it sells good, and the toner I already use. So yeah. If you already got it, then like, you can't, what is that? You can't make shots you don't shoot, or whatever the thing is. Oh, KC, go Chiefs, or Royals, whichever one you want. That I was going to. That's probably about it. So, guys, thanks. Just again, a warning: don't invest too much in Christmas decor if you think it's going to make you money, because it's only going to make you money for a short bit, and then nobody's going to buy it for the rest of the year. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Thank you very much for the questions. These things have been a blast for me doing both of these things. If you ever go to Disney World, hit me up. Long live pro music. Oh, lifelong pro musician here. Good. Well, hey, I was not pro. I mean, people thought I was, but that's what good frontmen do. Is you put on a show. I was not quite. We were sort of pro, but We were not. Um, uh, you know, side note, I once, my last tour that I was on for random kind of out of nowhere. Um, ARP. Okay. I once toured with Mike. I was on the same tour with My Chemical Romance. If anybody of you guys are young enough to remember them, when Spin Magazine called them the biggest band on the planet, I was living. Small town boy made it. All right. No. So ARP talked a bit about creator connections. Is sort of like my approach to how I do sort of research on creator connections on it if I'm going to participate with a campaign. I talked about. Oh man, it was a lot of CC at the beginning of this. We talked a little bit about my criteria again. You got it, Desert. Appreciate you. And again, before you guys split, if you haven't hit that heart button, would appreciate, or the thumbs up button or the heart. I don't know how this thing works. Whichever one, hit them all, hit everything. Talked a little bit about following the criteria again that I use to select my products. Talked a little bit about like horizontal versus vertical videos, et cetera, therefore, and whatnot. I think that I can't remember. It was a lot of CC talk, certainly at the beginning of this. Probably the first half of this was predominantly CC talk, and I'll take that piece of advice, and I'll try to do a schedule thing next time. To be honest, I really don't ever know I'm going to do these. It's just you got to aim ARP. Appreciate you, man. I don't ever know I'm going to do a live. It just kind of happens. Like tonight, I boozed it up for a little bit, but boozed it up way earlier. So like all of a sudden, then I'm like sitting around. My wife's been asleep for a little bit, so I was going to make some videos. And I just kind of throw this thing on. So I never quite know exactly what. I didn't booze it up too much, but just like throwing it up and just it's almost like the equivalent of being able to like sit around with people, like even if oh, I appreciate that. It's well, let's be very clear. It's crap. Maybe not basic. It's just maybe slightly above basic, but it's and that's actually I appreciate that. But one thing maybe worth mentioning here is I'm trying to figure a lot of this stuff out, like you guys are trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like that doing this channel when things started going really well for me. When I started doing things the way that I do them, and I felt like they were different than what I saw everybody else kind of talking about, I felt like that's kind of why I wanted to start this channel. I don't have anything to sell, and I don't have, my goal here is going to be that hopefully my channel can get monetized eventually. And, if I can find some affiliate opportunities, based off of the stuff that I'm doing, maybe I can do something like that. But I don't have a course, or I don't have really anything. I'm just my intro kind of talks about me being a general bozo and just, but I am winging it, and I'm very thankful that things have worked out well so far. But I am also very aware that at any moment Amazon could pull the plug and it not be working. So, but as long as it is, just trying to kind of help, because here's the other part too, and this will be kind of what I part with here is, I'm never scared of. Whenever I was in real estate, my brother thinks I shouldn't be making these videos, and he doesn't mean that in a bad way. But he's just like, why would you tell people that if you're doing something that other people like, if my processes are different and it's working, why would I want to share that with people? And I said, I used to say this in real estate too, because I was the same way. One was, I feel like smart people are eventually going to get it regardless. And if that's true, then I want to be the one that gets them there. Like they're going to get there anyways. Like it's helpful to be able to do that for people. They're going to be able to get to that point anyways, right? And maybe you make a friend, maybe they help you out at some point, whatever. But the other part is and this goes to also why I keep teaching about the importance of being the only Amazon, and only looking for products that don't have any other influencers on them. Because my newest data set that I just did with the 500 products, that being the only influencer video on that product is the most powerful and the closest thing that is going to get you to the best possible commissions in the program regardless. So in other words, if I am doing product research, that's why if I see a product that's got one video on it already, like that looks kind of good, right? In my brain, I'll think to myself like, I got a 50-50 shot of being the number one. I can beat one video, right? And even if I don't, I'm number two. The problem is the data that I keep running shows that whenever it goes from 1 to 2, there's almost like a 42% drop in your capture rate. Even if you're still the number one video on there, just the fact that another one exists, it's about a 42% drop in your ability. So me telling you guys this stuff, I'm not worried about you guys taking anything from me or doing things on my videos or whatever. Because if you do that, you're not going to make as much money as you would if you follow the thing that I said, which is do it on stuff that has nothing on it whatsoever. Right? So slight soapbox. Let me catch up over here. I appreciate your healing. It's a breath of, I appreciate it. Well, I'm again living it for now. I'm thankful that it's worked so far, and you know, as long as it keeps working, I'll keep putting out videos and doing that. You didn't have anything to sell with it. Well, so I do agree with those who can't do teach. I totally think that there is fairness in that. I'm not gonna lie. There have been times where I thought that someday I'll do a course, but then I'm just like, I'm saying all this stuff already on these videos. Somebody could just go back and watch them all for free. And maybe that's the way that you're supposed to do it. I don't know exactly how. You know, I don't know. I don't have anything right now, though. That's all I know. And I have no plans to do anything. So everything you learn here will help in the future. Hopefully so, Lewis. It'd be great. You're a great confirmation that I'm on the right track, and I've definitely learned things quicker. That's awesome. And remember, the program is at its core, and if you can internalize this and tune everything else out, at its core, what do we know about the program? If you want to make money, 2 tenets. Make a video on a product that's selling. When we're talking about on-site, right? Product's got to be selling, and your video has to be seen. You can't control the first one. If it's going to sell, you know, we have a way to confirm if it's going to be selling, right? The past behavior hopefully dictates further behavior. But the second one, your video has to be seen. We can kind of control that, right? We control that through product research, checking for influencer saturation. We control that by verifying we're doing a category that allows for influencer videos to be placed up top. We have some say in that part of it, right? And so if we believe those 2 basic tenets to be true, is it a guarantee? No, none of the program is a guarantee, but I feel like it puts us a lot closer to those other people that are winging it. And I winged it. For a year, right? You know, it's been nice to have someone talk about doing research and not wasting your time on any and every product. I've been preaching this in all the groups I'm in, but their favorite gurus. Look, the program, it's really easy to get distracted in this program. I talked about this a little bit on the last video, right? Like there's a lot of things going on, right? Seller free products. That right there is a major distraction, right? You can get wrapped up in that stuff. Oh, are you going to get your $10 for this? Get your $10 for making a video. People get so wrapped up in stuff. That's not to say you shouldn't be charging. I better not even get into that subject. But you know what I mean? Like you can be worried about making $10 on making that video, or you can be worried about commissions that you can make long-term over time, you know, that can surpass that stuff if you're doing product research. You know, things like the new star system, the statuses, the bronze, the whatever. Who cares? It's not a thing. Don't get distracted by that either. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying who cares, like you guys are telling me you care. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, it's easy for people that are learning the program to veer off of the things that matter, because there are things being fed, not by people that are meaning ill towards us, but there's just a lot going on. I mean, should I do a bunch of curations on my storefront? I got to spend time making curations. No one cares, but you wouldn't know that because it just seems like something that should be important. But at its core, when we're talking about on-site videos, internalize it. The 2 tenets: it's got to be selling, and somebody's got to see my video, and everything else is noise. You used to be able to do any and all products, but times have changed and it doesn't work anymore. More videos don't necessarily mean money. Hey, you said you've been preaching, and that's 100%. And here's the thing: the product, you're right. The times have changed. The program still is really what it was before. It's just now the circumstances around it, because of the saturation, has changed what is required in order to be successful in the program, right? You can't do what you were doing before now, right? You're 100% right on that. I kind of hope the masses keep ignoring them. So you're in line with my brother, is what you're saying. You're saying they hopefully nobody listens to what it is I'm saying. Tough to get people to understand that it is. Well, here's the other part too, and this one I promise I will part with. Whenever I was doing seller products predominantly, there were times whenever I would run out of products, and I would be looking around going, I need more products. And then I would reach out to sellers to get that assembly line going again of products, right? And they'd fill me back up and they'd load me up when I was doing those types of products. It takes products to make videos. And where those products come from can be difficult sometimes, right? Like if you don't have the extra cash to invest in products, what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like that, I realize that it is a little bit of a tough spot, because you do want to spend time making videos for products that sell. The best way to guarantee that is probably going to be it is by controlling your own destiny, choosing products based off of the criteria we talked about, right? Until you can do that, seller products are probably the way to go to build that up, right? I mean, my first full 30 days in the program, I made just over $2,000. A good chunk of that were two products I bought myself because I needed them. Like one was like a push mower and one was like an electrical outlet that went nuts. But everything else was free products. And I made okay money off of free products for my first year. But I think at some point you have to try to position yourself so that even if you're buying one product, a $20 product here and there that matches the criteria, if it to give yourself the best chance at succeeding, again, not a guarantee, but chance, is you have to have products that sell, and you have to have products that people will see your video. But I realize sometimes being able to do that is not the easiest thing, but that's what you have to have products in order to be able to do that. Consistently made an extra $1K to $2,500 per month. Let's go on seller fees. But I do agree with you that is saying about trying to move or yeah. And that's the thing. I know that there's a valid business model on the seller products. Like, that was one of the arguments I would get in a lot on some of the Facebook groups, was people would go like, hey, if you're doing stuff for free, you're dumb, or whatever the thing was, right? And I would try to say, like, look, they're just running their business the way that they feel like they need to. You're not in their house. You don't know what their situation is. Like if you need to charge, and that's your business model, that's great. I hope that you kill it. But they're doing a different business model, and I'm sorry if that impacts you, but they're two different businesses kind of altogether. What you're doing there, is an absolute legit ARP business model based on its own thing. And some people you're killing it. That's one of the higher amounts that I've seen for somebody doing that. So kudos to you for knocking that out of the park. The truth is that mass won't follow your approach anyway. It will require too many steps, and actually risking it. Well, that's the thing. It is a risk. I'm not asking anybody to trust me, right? I'm just some bozo from the Midwest. I'm a 25-year-old bozo, just a young man out here giving advice. But seriously, I mean, it is a risk. What I'm asking people is to consider trusting, going back to the two tenets. Don't trust me. I'm just relaying what the program says. It says, hey, if a product's selling and people's video, you're going to make money. I'm just relaying the message. And it shouldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? Like I think that it only comes across hard because it's so specific. It doesn't really give you a lot of wiggle room. You know what I mean? It's sort of, it binds you to, if those two tenets are true, it binds you to doing a specific set of actions that fulfill what is required by those tenants. It doesn't let you go like, well, maybe I'll do a bunch of seller products that are sent to me for free that aren't selling, but they're pretty cool, and maybe I'll make. It doesn't work. That doesn't work. There's a lot of things that aren't going to work in the program. So I'll do a video some point about the getting paid for videos, the ups and downs of that versus the doing them for free. I have had more back and forths with people on Facebook groups about that. Some who ended up like bucking me because and look, you guys have done a couple of things. 100% Londo, you're 100% right, because it's risk. And if it doesn't work out, then you're out that money 100%. I am a big believer. We've done a couple of videos together, the people that are on here. And obviously you guys don't know me from Adam, but maybe you can tell slightly through my temperament or my whatever. Man, I just want people to succeed, but I want people to do it out of I want people to be kind to each other more than anything else. And when I see people, and it's usually the people that have been getting paid to make videos, not Dino, probably. I don't think so. But generally, it's that group comes after the other group that's been doing them for free in some capacity. And for a long time, probably 60% of mine were free, 70%, because I was more interested in building my storefront and learning the process. It's kind of like Lewis was saying earlier, like getting better at what I was doing. And I liked free stuff. And the people that were getting paid are saying we're not able to get what we were before because of you guys. And if you guys knew what you were doing, or if you guys knew, if you had been around as long as I've been around, which is don't get me started on that. Like I've been around for a long time. Or, if you guys knew business, which that one right there got me going, then you would be doing this different. And so I would chime in on these conversations and say it's just different things, man. Like it's just like you guys are doing different things. And then they'd block me. And I'd say, look, it's not these people's responsibility to make sure you keep getting paid for your videos. That's not a good business model for you if it relies on me to do it the same way. It's not how that works. By the way, I want to make sure to reiterate, that was 100% not about Dino, because he mentioned getting paid for him. That wasn't about Dino. The fact that I then came back and said it's not about Dino, that people were, it wasn't about Dino. It was 100%. I just wanted to make sure that nobody went after Dino on that. Somebody said something here. Messes. ARP, how long did it take for you to see it working? So my first, like I said, last May I made or was that my first 30? Whatever my first 30 days was, I made $2,000 and I never dipped under that. So basically what happened is I went from 2, and it really didn't go up until probably like towards the end of the year. And I think that at one point it was like 3 and then it was like 4 at Christmas time, right? And then it kind of dropped back down, was hovering around like 25. And I didn't see movement that I could correlate to anything until I made my first group investment in products. And it wasn't really even a lot. I say a lot comparative to what I've done later. But I think like my first month, I may have invested $300 or something like that, because I was like nervous, and I was like, I just want to see, because the intersections had kind of happened for me at that point where I was just like, none of the seller stuff is actually selling. Something's got to give here. And that's where when I kind of just went back to the 2 tenants, right? Like, okay, here's what I know for sure. It has to be selling and I have to have a video on it, etc. And so I saw very quickly after that my first jump in some form or fashion. And it was enough for me to go like, that's the first jump I've had like that since I started the program back then outside of the holiday, right? And that gave me like a little bit more, my b-hole was not nearly as tense the next purchase round. And I just went up just a little bit more with it, right? It wasn't much more. Maybe it was like 500 or 600 that next month, just to kind of push it a little bit further. So, but it was immediate once I started going towards the doing product research with this set of criteria. But I'll be honest with you, whenever I first started to do the criteria, it was not as refined as it is now, right? I still left a little bit of wiggle room for like the influencer video count, for example, right? I wouldn't do one if it was saturated, but if it had like already a video on it or maybe like 2 videos on it, I was investing still in those products there, because I felt like I was like, I got a chance of being the number one, even if because there was just a couple of other ones to beat. It wasn't really until a couple months after that where you keep seeing the patterns and keep seeing the patterns where you realize like I don't think anybody else should be there except for me, and that's where the criteria my guidelines came from. Which if you hadn't heard already, I've got another video coming this week. I've done another data analysis. I have doubled the numbers, the number of videos that I have checked, number of products I have checked, and it still is proving to be true that from my last 30 days of sales, the capture rate is the highest for one-on-one. If I'm the only Amazon influencer video and there's only one brand video that exists, but also what you're going to see in that video this week is that brand video count has a negative impact as well. And that was a little bit of a surprise to see it pop out like that. That came out on the report. I've done free, sometimes still do. Just need to justify the time. 100%. I mean, I got some stuff sitting here, and you can't see it right now, but I got like 3 things sitting here. I used to have like 60 sitting here behind me at my desk, which you want to talk about feeling like you're going the wrong direction in the Amazon influencer program. Like I got 60 products back here, and I already know they're probably not going to sell. I felt like I was drowning for a little bit. So, yeah. Notice those timers on Facebook as well who are succeeding in spite of themselves early on. Yes, that's a very good point. Now they just complain instead of, well, I just think it's a matter of that the program has evolved. Take it back. The program hasn't evolved. The program has become competitive, and it was not before, at least to this level, right? And so when something is competitive, if you want to win, you have to figure out how to compete. You have to figure out how to edge people out, right? You want to take spots. You want to take positions. I mean, really, you don't want to have to take anybody's spot because you should be the only influencer video on there if you listen to what I say. But that's what has changed here, right? Product research matters. Things matter now that didn't matter before, not because the program's changed, but because, yes, the circumstances around the program have absolutely changed. Combining CC and Logi. See, I'm going to have to check out Logi. I haven't done that yet. I'm in the middle of testing Fluencer Fruit. Those bigger commissions are massive, but 100% yes on CC. And this is something I mentioned earlier in this video, which was I used to look at CC as a bonus or an add-on to the influencer program because of its scalability and obviously way higher commission. Like I have actually been spending more time looking at that as a primary and the on-site as a secondary. I have sort of flipped those around a little bit. I'm not sure that's going to be like that forever, but it's hard for me to ignore right now the potential of creator connections and how it relates to the on-site stuff. There's no doubt. I don't remember if I have a video about that one or not. Can justify buying sometimes. Hey, if it's a 50% commission rate on CC, two sales. And if you can get a 50% commission rate on a product campaign that's open for 6 more months, you got a pretty good shot at it. You know what I mean? Like if it's selling and you're the only influencer video, if you don't make your money back, then something's wrong. Something's off. And how long have you been doing the product research way now? Almost, yeah. Oh, well, the current iteration of it where I'm just like so adamant about one influencer or no influencer videos except for mine and sold. It started probably, I'd have to go back and look at like my numbers. It was almost like a year to the date. So maybe like this past May is whenever I started to make that switch and move away from seller products and start looking at, okay, what should I actually be looking for in the product? If I'm going to invest, it's got to be, I don't want to just throw a random net. It needs to match some criteria. So that's about the time that I started to kind of put the criteria together. And it was probably a matter of like 2 more months after. So you're probably talking about July before I really started to kind of hone in on the 1-in-1 aspect ratio there. Aspect ratio might not be the right term, but it sounded smart. 1 influencer, 1 brand video. That's about the time I really started to hone that. And like, look, one of the other things you're going to see on this video that I put out this week is that if there are more than 1 video in the upper carousel, more than 1 influencer video, you can still make money on those. What my data shows is that the only way though to make money, like, so if there's 5 videos in that upper carousel, the only real way to make money on those is if it is selling a ton of units. The entries on my sheet that I'm going to show you on that video this week, you're going to see, yeah, there's some that show 5 influencer videos, but you're going to also notice that the number of total units sold for that particular product, not by me, but in general as a whole, is way higher than everything else is. You can't make that same money on a product that's only selling 1,000 units per month if there's 5 influencer videos at the top. So there is opportunity whenever the upper carousel is saturated, but I mean, it is really difficult. And here's the other part. If it's really selling 30,000 units a month, you might see 5 videos in that upper carousel, but how many do you think Amazon's got in the tank sitting there waiting to replace you? They might have another 100 influence videos sitting back there because, again, popular products draw attention to themselves. There's a spotlight on that product that says, hey, everyone make a video for this and bump me out of the upper carousel. So I say all that to say you can make money whenever the carousel is saturated, but it has to be selling a ton and you have to actually stay there, which usually is not possible. Has many samples, but TT, yeah, I'm trying on TikTok. TikTok's really hard because it's hard to get into the program. I haven't been able to kind of crack that code yet as far as getting into TikTok shop. I got something running right now that I'm trying, but not really getting anywhere. Do you ever do multiple vids for products? Typically, no, because for 2 reasons. One, well, okay. I won't do 2 horizontal videos because if that product doesn't sell, then like, well, 2 things. If I'm the only, I don't need to make 2, right? Maybe making 2 protects you later from if somebody else creeps in, but if you're the only one there, I'm not too worried about it. Now, I will sometimes make a vertical and a horizontal for obvious reasons, right? Horizontal gets different types of action than a vertical does. The only time typically where I will double up horizontal videos, right, is if I am like this, like all right, good example here. This is my frozen pizza that I started eating before this started. All right, so pretend these are 2 different products, but similar products, right? And so what I'll do is I'll make a video for this one. And I've got by the way, there's a video about this on my channel. I'm going to make a video for this one, and that gets placed on that product page. I'm going to make a video for this one, and that gets put on that product page. I have 2 different products and 2 video placements, right? And then I'll make a third video comparison, right? This versus that, which I'm going to tag both products in, and that comparison video now can be placed on both product pages. So now this product has 2 videos on it. It is the product video and the this or that, and then this one has 2 videos on it. So 4 video placements. So that's the only time that I typically will do horizontal more than 1 is if I'm doing this or that. Otherwise, if I do 2, it's vertical and horizontal. Hope that makes sense. I like to take 5 to 10% of total sales for influencers. So 5 to 10 for us when product selling 100. Then split that over other influencer videos. So here's the problem, Dino. You sound like you're good at math. That's not the problem. Problem is I'm not. So I'm sitting here looking at that going like, those numbers do sound good. They sound really good, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they mean. That's why most of my scripts in my math calculations, I got to run them through like a chat GPT. Cause I'm like, hey, Dino just said these numbers here. Explain these to me like I'm a 5-year-old. So feel free to, if you want to spell that out a little bit more, feel free. If not, totally understand it. Everybody else probably got it. Math is not my strong suit. When you're as handsome as me, you don't have to do math. When you're a young 25-year-old like me and you got your whole life in front of you, you don't have to. Hey, Londo, you're not supposed to do a laughing emoji because I said I was 25. You know what? Side note, this was I realized lately. You know what's funny is like people used to tell me when they'd ask me how old I am. They say, "How old are you?" And I'd say my number, and they go, "Man, you don't look like that." I go, "That's awesome. Thank you for saying that." I realize I've reached the age where nobody says that anymore. Nobody says that. I go, "How old are you?" And I go, "I'm 47." And they go, "All right, that's nice knowing you, bozo, old man." I don't never. So our beards are 20. I don't know. My beard's 125. I'm afraid. Thank you guys for the hangouts. I appreciate all of you hanging out here. Londo, Dino, Lewis, if you're still in here, ARP. Try to kind of go back through and hit up everybody that was in here. Desert, I think Desert's long gone. Andrea, I think, is long gone. Try to kind of read between the lines and scrolling very, very quickly. Ben, I think Ben's probably out 5'd quite some time ago. Appreciate you guys. Lewis, there you are, man. And remember, it's, I'm here trying to help stuff out. If you see a video and you have questions about it, feel free to drop a comment on that thing. Glad to kind of try to help where I can. And, I'll just kind of keep putting these things out. Yep. You got it. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next video. Be live this week with my new analysis coming up. But I think you guys are going to kick out of what those brand videos actually. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked at what that brand video count actually does, the way it impacted my sales based off the volume there. So Chiefs play at noon. Wait a minute. What is today? Oh, today is Saturday. Oh, that's right. I need to get my DraftKings up and running. I'm gonna drop a little bit on the Chiefs just because Dino gave him a holler. I'm gonna take that as a sign from the universe. And don't worry, if I lose, I'll just take the train up and have to find you. Give me back my $5, Dino. All right, guys and ladies, whoever's still here, thanks y'all so much. We'll see you later. Peace out.